Despite spending over £100 million on Portuguese wonderboy Joao Felix, reports in Spain are claiming that Diego Simeone is open to letting him leave. So with Arsenal looking for brand new forwards, is Mikel Arteta eyeing up the signing of Joao Felix? Also, has Gabriel Martinelli been called up to the Brazil squad? And how will Mikel Arteta line up versus Leicester on Sunday? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14. Welcome yourselves back to my channel, and you guys know the business. If you enjoy the content, smash a like and also do subscribe if you are new, because we are closing into 80,000 subscribers, and for that I have to thank you guys because your support has been a madness. But let's get straight into the Arsenal news, and starting off with Joao Felix. The prospect of Joao Felix signing for Arsenal Football Club just sounds like a career mode transfer, but the fact that this is even a possibility in the first place, you have to first things first understand why is Felix not worked out at Atletico Madrid, because after all, he was meant to be their poster boy for the next 10 years. They broke their club transfer record, spending over £100 million, but where I think it's gone wrong is all stylistically. Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid is a team that is very rigid, very compact, and requires a lot of discipline. It is not a team that's seen as expansive or expressive, whereas Joao Felix is a player that, to operate at his best level, he needs that freedom of expression to roam around, to find spaces, and to really exploit that footballing IQ that he's been blessed with. I wouldn't go as far as saying Felix is flop for Atletico. I just don't think he suits the style of Diego Simeone. I think Simeone now understands that, Atletico understand that, and that's why, according to reports in Spain, they're willing to cut their ties and let the player leave. And that's where enters Arsenal Football Club. According to Football London, Arsenal have genuine interest in signing Atletico Madrid forward Joao Felix. The article posted by Chris Wheatley claims Atletico are keen on recouping some of the £120 million they paid for him from Benfica 2 years ago. Football London understands that the Gunners are in the market for two forwards this summer, following the departure of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and likely exits of Lacazette and Nketiah. You can understand why Mikel Arteta wants to sign these brand new strikers, two strikers that give Arsenal variation going forwards, goal threat, and give Arsenal a new sense of life going forwards. I've already said one of those strikers is going to be a old-fashioned number 9, a tall target man type, potentially a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, maybe even you could say Alexander Isak. But I believe that Arteta will also want, on top of that, a false 9 type of profile. We've seen Pep Guardiola do it so often during his time at Man City, and even Mikel Arteta tried it against Villarreal last season with Emil Smith-Rowe. But when we're talking about false 9 profiles, it is tailor-made for a player like Joao Felix. And as pointed out by EBL, if he was to join Arsenal, he'd play as a false 9. Lacazette, but 100 times superior. It could see Arteta take the Pep approach of total control via domination of the ball by having Foden or Bernardo Silva dropping deep to overload teams and pin them back. Felix is one of those players that is very clearly special but doesn't have the output to back up his talents, but that's okay. Firmino, Foden and Bernardo don't either. However, Felix and Foden are elite talents that will eventually produce decently reliable output. But where a lot of Arsenal fans are going to have the issues is if you're paying over £100 million, does Felix have that sort of output to back up that sort of price tag? But with the overall levels of talent and potential that this guy has in his locker, it's only a matter of time before we see a goal-scoring explosion from Joao Felix. And maybe it's already started, because in Felix's last 7 appearances for Atletico Madrid, he has now 7 goals and assists. But another very key question is, who would be Arsenal's main competitors? Reports have claimed that Man City also hold an interest in Felix, but according to very reliable reports today, they also are closing into the transfer of Erling Haaland. So one can only believe that if they're gonna sign Erling Haaland, there is no chance that on top of that, they also spend the money on Joao Felix. Because if they were to do that, we might as well give up with any hope of ever winning a Premier League title. But as always, my friends, I'd love to know your own thoughts on Joao Felix, so make sure to get down below in the comments and let me know, is he a player that you guys want to see Mikel Arteta sign and can take Arsenal to the next level, especially for the reported price tag of well over £100 million. It's official, Arsenal duo Gabriel Magalhaes and Gabriel Martinelli have been both called up to the Brazilian national team for the upcoming final World Cup qualifiers against Chile and Bolivia later this month. First things first, a shout out to Mr. Magalhaes. I do believe this is his 3rd or 2nd consecutive call up, but more importantly, Gabriel Martinelli getting his first ever call up to the Brazilian national team. That is a massive bit of news. A shout out to Pele's godson, playing up there with the likes of Neymar, Vinicius Jr. Brazil have a whole host of top attacking players, so the fact they have called up a player that is still 20 years of age and firing at Arsenal Football Club just goes to show how highly rated this Brazilian star boy really is. With the Brazilian assistant saying he, Martinelli, has a knack for goals and has been involved with assist and scoring. He has grown a lot at Arsenal. We visited him and talked with Arteta and had a look at him. He's a player who deserves to be here, and we want to give him an opportunity. I've jokingly called this guy Pele's godson in the past, and now he is starting to live up to the prophecy, and he totally deserves it. And even though recently his goals have kind of dried up, ultimately speaking, he's proven that he's a starter for Arsenal Football Club, and he deserves to be with the Brazilian national team. And also a massive shout out to the Arsenal Star Boys. In the space of 1 year now, these guys are now all full-on internationals. Saka starting in the Euro semi-final, Smith Rowe scoring his first goal in his first start, and now Gabriel Martinelli is the latest Arsenal star boy to get called up to the national team. A shout out to the Arsenal manager, because he has taken his young starlets, players that us fans rated highly, and he is now starting to make them into potential world superstars. Forget about the Premier League and the Champions League, it's time our players take over the international scene as well. Moving on to Leicester versus Arsenal. That is right, our gargantuan institution is back in action on the weekend on Sunday after an entire 7 days of waiting to watch Arteta's Arsenal back in action. Vibes FC will be back in full effect, playing up against Brendan Rodgers' Leicester City, and this is going to be an informed Leicester team, winning 5 of the last 6 games and 4 in a row. In comparison, of course, Arsenal are on a 4-game winning streak, and even looking at the head-to-head record, Arteta and Rodgers have played 5 games, with Arteta winning 3, 1 draw and 1 win for Brendan Rodgers. This isn't going to be an easy game, because even though Leicester now are fighting from the table and they aren't the team from last year, they are still a team that poses threat. They have a lot of counter-attacking threats, and one main one of course was going to be Jamie Vardy, but as according to Sky Sports News, Vardy is out of the game at the weekend due to injury. But talking about the Arsenal team news, Mikel Arteta says that Tomiyasu, we are still assessing him. We are taking some time to try to protect him and get him in the best of shape in the safest possible way so we can help the team as quick as possible. And Smith Rowe looks like he's going to be available. So first things first, a boost, the returning ESR, that's going to be massive for Arsenal. But then you also have Takahiro Tomiyasu, who is still looking like a doubt going into this game, and I'm actually starting to get concerned now. It's that same calf injury holding him back, and Tomiyasu hasn't even played a single second for Arsenal since January. In fact, his last league appearance was against Man City on the first day of the brand new year. But here is how I think Arsenal are going to line up, with Ramsdale in goal and a back four of Cedric, White, Gabriel and Tierney, a midfield three of Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard, and a front three of Smith Rowe, Lacazette and Bukayo Saka. Essentially the exact same team that we played against Watford, but the one difference of course is the outgoing Gabriel Martinelli and the incoming Smith Rowe. Speaking on Martinelli, Arteta says Gabby's playing a different position because Oba played more as a 9 in his last few months. He certainly has the capacity to score goals and be a threat in the final third. His contribution and all-round game has been exceptional. I don't think Arteta sees Martinelli as a touchline winger in a 4-3-3. And it doesn't suit Martinelli's game either, because even though he scored a goal against Watford, I don't think he played his best of games. I just don't think it suits the game of Gabriel Martinelli to play as a touchline winger, and if he is going to play for Arsenal, he has to play as more of a centre forward. So that is why I've gone for Smith Rowe, but do let me know your own thoughts down below, and if it came down to you, what would be your own personal Arsenal predicted lineup? The last 2 games, even though Arsenal have won, in particular that Watford game, it was far from Arsenal's vintage best, and in many moments, Watford had better chances that if they had taken, it could have been entirely different results. So with Leicester being informed, they're scoring more goals, winning more games, they definitely pose a massive threat to Arsenal. And let's not forget, they also beat us at the Emirates last season. And for Arsenal, this is also going to be a massive opportunity in the race for the Champions League. You have that massive game on the weekend, Tottenham versus Man United, both our rivals going head to head. So for the Arsenal players, there will be extra pressure on their shoulders, and let's wait and see how they cope. And we also can't forget that we have some massive games after Leicester as well. You've got Liverpool in the midweek and then Aston Villa away on the Saturday. So hopefully we do get the job done, but as always, let me know your own thoughts going into the game. What do you guys think? Can Arsenal get the win? And as always, what are your Arsenal versus Leicester matchday predictions? Moving on to the other Arsenal news, and starting off the ex-Arsenal manager and Arsenal legend, Arsenal's greatest manager of all time, we're talking Arsene Wenger. As Arsene Wenger speaking on Chelsea says, Roman Abramovich's arrival fundamentally changed football, with the money becoming the key ingredient to success. Salaries and transfer fees were inflated and players became more and more motivated by money. Arsene Wenger being spot on as per, and this is what I meant yesterday when I said that we are now going to see a fundamental massive change in the way that Chelsea Football Club operates, because eventually they're going to be sold, and what we're going to see now is Chelsea become more of a net spend team, a team that can't go out there and buy any player they want. They're going to have to be more safe, more precautious, and they're going to have to now trust the process. And as I said yesterday, this is now an opportunity for Arsenal to take advantage of, not just this year in the race for third place, but even going into the next few years. In general, Arsenal need to reassert their dominance of London. But with Chelsea being in deep waters, what are your thoughts on the situation, and do you think it's time that Arsenal reclaim their thrones as the true kings of London? Here are the stats of Martin Odegaard so far this year, and what they show is per 90 minutes, he's the highest Arsenal player for chances created from open play, passes ended in the final third, passes into the opposition box, and expected assists. So the stats are saying that Martin Odegaard is our most important attacker, but Arsenal fans didn't need the stat to see that. We watched Martin Martin Odegaard play week in week out, thrive and be the key to the Arsenal attack. I think what I want to see now from Martin Odegaard to make him that perfect player is more consistent goal threats. As he showed in the game against Watford, he does have a good finish on him, but quite often in front of goal, I think sometimes he's a bit reluctant. He's almost got that Mesut Ozil genetic if he wants that assist, he wants that extra pass. But if Odegaard can become a more decisive shooter in front of goal and finish more chances, then Arsenal for me have a potential superstar on their hands. David Ornstein, speaking on Mikel Arteta, says, huge optimism for the immediate, medium and long term. This was something that we were trying to explain and that Arsenal inside the club believed him, but the results weren't really showing that. So there was a lot of skepticism outside. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal is really now starting to take shape, and now looking around the Premier League, whispering it quietly, but Arsenal are in a very decent position to take it to the next level. You look at Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, according to reports, he might leave by 2024, and likewise Pep Guardiola. You look at the whole Chelsea, Roman Abramovich thing. If Arsenal can get these next couple of transfer windows right and secure Champions League football this year, then as Mikel Arteta said last year, the project might just go bang. But now we are into March of this year. What are your own thoughts on Mikel Arteta as things stands, and do you now believe that he is that guy to take Arsenal to the next level, which is eventually winning a Premier League title? But that is the video there, so if you guys have enjoyed, smash a like on it and also do subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was all of the latest Arsenal news today, so I hope you guys have enjoyed as always, being informed, and a massive game looms on Sunday, Leicester City at the Emirates. It won't be easy, but I'm looking forward to it. Until then, take care and in a bit.